magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
The queen is evil. You must flee into the woods.
So, whistle while you work.
You'll be safe from the queen here.
The queen stole everything from all of us. I'm gonna need your help.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us today. Of course, our returning subscribers, thank you for coming back and for tuning into our video. And of course, any new subscribers, big shout out to you guys as well. We appreciate every single one of you that come to our channel. And subscribe as well if you like our content. We have lots of content on our channel. Join our family. We would love to have you. And as always, comment down below, have a chat with us. So as you can see from the title, we are going to be reviewing the Snow White live action that just came out. I think it came out on the
21st.
Yeah, I was thinking something like the 21st. So it came out on the 21st. Yeah. We watched it, I think, the day after on the 22nd. We're just going to be reviewing it. Of course, they did change the title. I know there was many reasons why they changed the title, but I think Leah was saying they were going to call it the little people or the magical
creatures.
Magical,
is
that's
what I
it.
heard.
Yeah, the magical creatures. Yeah. But I think in the end they ended up just going with Snow White. Obviously, there was a lot of reasons why they did that, and of course, for us, we are Disney fans, so of course we go by the originals and what's already there. So of course I guess it's not a major thing, but the only reason why we would have said to call it the Seven Doors is because that's just the original. Yeah. But I understand why they didn't go down that route. So just a little not too long on it, but basically the storyline in general was just they showed us Snow White's backstory, which of course we know Snow White's backstory for the Disney fans as well. Yeah. So they showed the when her parents were alive, and how how good the kingdom was, how close the kingdom was,
showing her character.
Then obviously the evil queen coming up and becoming who she was. Snow White obviously working as a servant in the palace. So I think, what would I say the storyline is about is it's kind of her becoming who her parents always wanted her to be, and who she always said she wanted to be.
Because she will obviously take over when her parents are gone. She will become the queen of that.
So it was basically her. It was basically her really finding herself and becoming the hero of the story. Basically what
becoming queen.
Basically becoming the worthy queen, I guess.
Queen and becoming
that's basically what the storyline was about. A little bit there. And did we like the story? Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the story. Again, we've kind of already stated that we just like things to go by the original. When you stray a little from there, we're like, oh, that didn't happen. Yeah. But I don't think they did it that bad. Yeah. So the main thing was the fact of putting a lot of emphasis on snow. Yeah. Obviously, that's not how it happened.
And I think, obviously, the storyline as a whole wasn't bad.
It wasn't.
I think the way they did Snow White was kind of they were doing it a little bit more according to the Once Upon a Time version of Snow White.
If you guys
if you've seen that as well. Because obviously...
And warrior fighting, powerful.
Yeah, it was definitely more like that. Even I need to become the queen that my parents always said I could be or wanted me to be. That was the Once Upon a Time Snow White, because when we saw her, it was always no, but my mum didn't do that, or my mum didn't teach me that. No, my mum taught me to be this. So they definitely, that's our take on it. They may not have, but it kind of seemed they got inspiration from Once Upon a Time's version of Snow White. But in general, the story wasn't bad. Again, it's kind of leading into our next point, which is comparing it to the original now. The storyline in the original, in a way, was completely different. Yeah.
Because Snow is completely.
To be honest, they didn't. They didn't
different.
Yeah, they didn't really put any emphasis on her parents. In the original, because Snow White was just Snow White. She was always pure. She was always innocent. She always had that innocent character vibe. So it wasn't really about becoming a worthy queen.
No, of course not. She was too young to even think/worry about all of that.
Yeah. So 14. Obviously, it's little things like, it even brings me into, something just came into my head, is the way they did the Huntsman. Like, obviously, the Huntsman was in the original, but the way they did it in the live action was quite poor. Like, the way they encountered each other in the forest, I thought was quite bad. And then when he was about to kill her, that was bad. And then also the fact that when you tried to trick the evil queen, you didn't even put a heart in the
oh yeah,
box.
you just put an apple.
You put an apple in the box.
Just to quickly go off the whole bit in the forest.
Yeah.
Just so we can give more of an explanation. It was just too forced.
Yeah, it was.
You know, when she turned her back, she saw the shadow on the rock, and then he was just like that, and then every minute she was just like, why? And he was just getting closer. And it was just like, something's off here.
It was bad.
It just doesn't look.
It was bad.
It's forced. And then randomly he's like, you need to run away. Go before I change my mind. Yeah. And it's like,
no.
that
way, in that way, the original did it way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah.
And then also, even when she dropped in the forest, and she was by herself and it was dark and everything, there was no like fear.
Not really.
There was no fear. Like in the original, she screamed and then she just started crying, and then that's when all the animals came to her. But there was none of that. Like they really, I think they really took away Snow White's character.
The innocence version.
Like, yeah, they really did.
The naivety, the innocence. She was a young girl.
And remember, Snow White's 14.
She was a young girl.
So...
And they didn't replicate that. Yeah. But then again, if you're changing Snow's character to be focused on becoming the queen that she, was brought up to be, she's not going to be as innocent.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of changing her motive in a way.
Yeah.
As a young 14-year-old that she was, she doesn't have those worries. She doesn't have those thoughts. She's too young to even think about that.
Yeah.
But by making this version of Snow think about that, you've, in a way, matured her.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because her worries aren't the same.
Yeah. You've just kind of taken everything away from who Snow White is.
You've changed Snow completely by doing that.
Yeah. And then, like... to be honest, no, like most of the changes weren't little. These are these are the changes compared to the original now. One, her love interest wasn't a prince. Her love interest was a bandit.
He wasn't a prince. Yeah. He
wasn't Jonathan, a prince his name's Jonathan. Jonathan was a bandit. She fell in love with him and then I think she married him in the end.
Yeah.
He wasn't a prince.
He wasn't a prince.
To me, that's rubbish. I know, like, okay, the main reason, we'll get into it later, I know the main reason is because of the actor that played Snow White. But, no, like, it's a change that doesn't really need to happen. When we're talking about Disney, we're talking about a princess and a prince.
Yeah,
like,
it's just how it is.
It is what it is.
It's just how it is. But obviously, with the generation that we're in now, people just wanted it to be more relatable in a way, or just, obviously... the time that it was in and the culture and everything. They just wanted it to be more relatable to this time. And I think I just don't think it needs that. It doesn't. It just doesn't need that.
Even if you don't want to do like a prince and a princess type thing, then make it more like Elsa. Because obviously we know Elsa doesn't have a love interest. So make it more like Moana. You know what I mean? But not like a princess marrying somebody that's not royalty. It doesn't happen in Disney history.
It doesn't.
It doesn't happen in Disney.
Cinderella wasn't royalty, and that's the prince falling in love with, true. A maid.
Yeah, that's true. And then obviously Jasmine and Aladdin.
Yeah,
that's
obviously
true.
A princess falling in love with him now as well, and he wasn't.
I get.
royalty.
Okay, so in that sense, it does happen, but it just didn't happen in Snow White.
It just didn't happen in that.
So it just doesn't need to happen now.
Yeah.
Then another thing is Dopey. So obviously, I always thought that Dopey couldn't speak, but apparently he chooses not to speak.
Yeah, it's not that he can't. Walt Disney just
didn't
make him speak.
Yeah, and they never wanted him to speak. So he never spoke in the books, and Disney kept that, and Disney had no interest in making him speak.
Yeah.
So again, because we're coming back from the original, the fact that Dopey spoke in the end, and they made it seem like he was just afraid to speak, and they made him get bullied by the other dwarves or the other little people. No. Like, that's not Dopey's story. And it's not even the little people story.
And
it's not.
And because one of the thoughts that I had at the time was like, what was the need to have that changed? What was the need? Because even throughout the film, I feel like for some reason, you heightened Dopey even more.
Yeah.
Like, you over-exaggerated. He was in every scene.
Yeah, pretty much.
The camera always panned to him, always showing him. Like, there was so much emphasis on Dopey. And my thing was like, why are you always showing Dopey? At the end, you taught him first how to whistle.
Yeah.
Every minute you're showing him, just him on the camera all the time, and then making him speak and all this. It's like, what's this idea of putting this all on Dopey?
Yeah, they did.
Out of all the other dwarves.
And that's another change as well. Why is Snow White teaching them how to whistle?
Yeah.
I remember when Hi Ho came on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was very good the way they did it.
Yeah, it was.
It was very good the way they did it.
Was.
But when they were singing the song, I remember when the song ended, and I turned to Lee and I was like, but where's the whistling?
Yeah.
And then they had a scene where she was teaching Dopey how to whistle. And I was like, what?
And then he came and showed them. They were like, what is that magical sound? And
what? I was like, no.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that they did.
Just to clarify, like, these are kind of like minor issues. They're not like major that made the whole thing bad, because like we said at the beginning, we didn't have a problem with the film. It was all right.
Yeah. But
it was like these changes that they did was unnecessary in our eyes to make. You didn't need to change these things.
They didn't. And even like making it seem like the dwarves weren't close.
Yeah, they weren't friends. They just worked together for over 200 years, 275.
So since when were they not friends?
Yeah.
Like, maybe they fought in the original, but they never showed us that they weren't close.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then this, I think this was one of the major things, because it just didn't make sense. When she came across their cottage, when she came across the house or whatever, she went straight to the bedroom and slept. Whereas, like, when you think about the original, the only reason why she went upstairs to sleep was because she just finished cleaning.
Yeah.
She saw the house. She saw the house and she was like, "Oh, we can't leave it. We can't leave it like this for when they come back." And she cleaned.
Yeah.
And then after she cleaned, she got tired.
There was a motive as to why she's gonna lay down.
Yeah.
Like in this one, she got in the cottage straight away. She's gone to the bedroom. You see the bed, the things, the name, Sneezy, whatever, and the next minute she's just laying down.
No.
And it's like, so you're just gonna go to sleep straight away?
Yeah. And then when they found them, it was when they
bad.
found her, it was bad, man. It was
so
poor.
bad. They were making so much noise. She for some reason couldn't hear anything. She's moving so much under the covers. It's like, what are you doing? And why are we not hearing each other? And they're screaming that. And then even the way when Dopey opened, the covers, and the way she just looked at him like it was nothing. It's like,
no,
something is.
No, it's bad.
Like, the energy
and then probably one of the more main things is the way the movie ended, the way the Evil Queen was defeated.
Yeah.
Obviously, so the way the Evil Queen was defeated in this movie was completely different to the original. The way she was defeated in the original was there was a storm, and it struck the cliff and she fell. But the only reason why that happened is because she was being chased by the dwarves.
Yeah,
so after
Snow White,
after Snow White had bit the apple, now the dwarves went after the Evil Queen. Now in this, they obviously didn't do that. Snow White did bite the apple, but then she got woken by True Love's kiss, and then she went after the Queen. And basically, the Queen defeated herself, basically.
Through the mirror.
Because of her vanity.
Yeah.
She broke the mirror and then got sucked in.
Because the mirror, obviously, because it had magical powers, so it was from it has like its own dimension inside of it.
Yeah.
And that's what she got sucked into.
Which again, like, I don't know if they ever made that a thing in the original, but if you go in Once Upon a Time, they did show that the mirror has its own dimension. So that's fine. But I didn't like the fact that they made the Evil Queen defeat herself, and because you changed the storyline, you had to do it like that. You had to. Because you changed the storyline. Because
she doesn't fight. She's not a warrior, so she can't fight her.
Yeah. And she has
magic.
They had to do it like that because you changed the storyline.
Because when they were all turning on her, we were like, yeah, but you can't defeat her.
Yeah.
Because she has powers.
Yeah.
So then, when the mirror thing happened, we were like, to be honest, that's the only way it could have ended.
It's the only way.
Because when Snow was telling her, oh, you have to run away, Evil Queen ain't going anywhere. You can't just tell her to go and she's going to go.
No. So, and to be honest, even the way she ran, the Evil Queen's not doing that.
Yeah. She went straight to the mirror asking about,
She's not doing that.
There's no other way you could have done it. Because,
Yeah, so anyway, I think that was like the main comparisons to the original. Speaking a little bit about Rachel, what's her name?
Zegler.
Rachel Zegler
that's
as
how you
Snow
pronounce
White, because obviously she got a little bit. Well, she got a lot of backlash.
She got a lot of.
And to be fair, I know if you watched our trailer reaction, I didn't like her as Snow in the trailer reaction. I didn't think she looked like Snow White, and I didn't think she sounded like Snow White.
Yeah.
And I still stand by that. Even after watching the movie, she doesn't look like her. She doesn't sound like her. The only good thing about Rachel Zegler is she can sing.
Yeah,
she can sing. She's got a nice voice.
And Rachel even said that she got the part because of her voice.
Yeah.
You know?
She can definitely sing.
Yeah.
Her acting wasn't bad. Her acting wasn't bad. It's just that, she doesn't look like Snow White. She doesn't sound like Snow White.
She doesn't.
And she doesn't act like Snow White.
No, she doesn't.
All three of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, all three of those.
100%.
And I know that she was probably the main reason why the movie got changed so much. So, yeah.
She had because she had say in it. She had a say in a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, and you know about the whole woke culture thing and wanting things to be more culturally relevant, I guess, to today.
Yeah.
You know, that's why there was change
but I
in the
will
first
say
place.
though, I think probably the best she did in terms of like sounding more like Snow White was probably Whistle While You Work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was really
I could
good.
see that.
Yeah.
So, whistle while you work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I wouldn't have chosen her as Snow White. No.
Nah.
No. And the whole time I was thinking, so where's the curls in your hair? And where's your red lipstick?
Yeah. No, don't think that she only used that at the very end.
Yeah. That's Snow White's look.
Yeah. Obviously,
So,
that's not
come
mainly
on.
her. Because
Yeah.
obviously, we know the production team and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
then, obviously, moving on to Gal Gadot as the evil queen. Personally, and I think we kind of all agreed, she smashed it. She did very well.
She did good.
Yeah, she did very well.
Acting-wise,
there was moments where it was like,
it was weird.
You're doing a bit too much.
Especially her song.
Yeah.
I did not like her song.
No.
I did not like her song. I think it has to be one of the worst villain songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, she can sing. Obviously, she did sing a little bit in Wreck-It Ralph 2. In that game, Penelope's game.
Yeah.
No, the biker game
Shank.
in Break the Internet. Yeah, Shank. She sang a little bit in there.
Yeah.
But I think I did read that she did a lot more vocal training on this to help her with it.
It would make sense.
And she did well, honestly. When she did that long note, we were all like, oh, we didn't know Gal could, do that.
So she played
she did it well.
She played it really well. Very, very pretty as the evil queen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she looked lovely.
Yeah, she really did.
Lovely.
She played it well. I don't have any issues really.
Yeah.
About the way she acted.
Obviously, with Gal, we didn't have any doubt that she would do it well. It was mainly Rachel.
I think she was the one we were excited for, to be fair.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what kind of drew us to really watch it.
Yeah.
And to be interested.
Yeah.
And I just think, we had doubts about Rachel beforehand. But watching the film, she actually did all right.
She did all right.
She didn't do bad at all. Obviously, with the changes with Snow anyway. But obviously, that doesn't correlate to her acting ability. She did good.
Yeah.
She did good. She wasn't bad at all.
And of course, when we're talking about Disney, we've got to talk about the songs.
Of course.
Come on, guys.
Of course.
So, the songs-wise, to be honest, no.
There was
a few that were bad.
Yeah, the ones that were in the original, I think they were fine.
Yeah. I agree. They did Hi-Ho very well. It's kind of like the way they did In the Jungle in Lion King 1.
Yes, yeah, the live action, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So yeah, they
Whistle While You Work,
they did very well.
Yeah.
Whistle While You Work, they did very well.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
they did them
well.
Those
the only ones in the original.
I
think it
believe
was.
So.
Yeah, I think it was.
I believe so. They did those very well.
I would say the main one, the most influential song, they did really well as well.
They did.
Don't ask me what the title is. I don't remember what it's called.
Is it her song, Waiting on a Wish?
No.
Oh, okay.
The most influential one, the one that had reprises. You know the beginning song and the end song.
Oh, I know. The first song.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know the title.
If we find the title, we'll put it on the screen. But yes, that was a good song.
It was. That was, yes.
What was it?
Waiting on a Wish.
Very good song as well.
Very good. I mean, to me, it's only really the chorus that really hooked me. Yeah. But she did it well.
Yeah, and she can sing. Well.
And she can.
Yeah, so honestly, Gal Gadot's one, no.
I didn't like it. And the way she was acting.
But it was just her vocals, yeah. Oh, but it was just her vocals.
Yeah.
The romantic one was rubbish.
Oh no, rubbish.
That was obviously between Jonathan and Snow White.
We did not like that.
And then the one in the forest where she meets his team of bandits also wasn't good.
Oh yeah, no.
No.
Yeah.
But I was getting some Annie vibes. And I was getting some Tangled vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But overall, the songs were good.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like Mufasa, where they pretty much were all bad.
Yeah.
Pretty much were all bad.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like that. Yeah. Overall,
Or just
yeah.
laughable.
Yeah. Overall, the songs were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
They were alright, yeah.
Good, very good vocal abilities.
Oh, yeah.
Well, mainly by the two
Sure.
mains. The
Yeah,
two
for
mains,
sure,
good
for
vocal
sure,
abilities.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And some power, definitely had some powerful songs, especially the most influential song. Again, we'll put it on the screen here. Yeah, so the songs overall were good. And then obviously people were saying that this is not doing well, guys. This movie is not doing well.
Even from opening night.
Yeah. So obviously there was some talk that this is the worst live action that Disney has ever made. I disagree. You know?
Yes, I disagree also.
I disagree. You know,
We disagree, guys.
You guys, if you watched our videos, you know what I mean. Because we reviewed like Little Mermaid.
Back then, Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Let's just tell you this from now.
I think that's the only other live action we've done
Is it
so
right?
far on the channel.
Okay, so if you watched our video, you know how we felt about that movie. It was trash. It was
And
bad.
it will be on the screen if you guys want to tune into that.
Yeah.
But no, we did not like that.
It was bad. Yeah? Okay, good. And Lion King 1 was also bad. In our opinion.
also did
Don't
not
think
like
we
that.
reviewed it on our channel.
No.
But it was bad.
We did not like that.
So, obviously we're going way back now with the Cinderellas and the Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, way back.
You know what I mean? But so if we're not talking about those live actions,
We're talking about
and we're
kind of
just talking
recent-
about
yeah.
and we're just talking about like Little Mermaid, Lion King 1, Aladdin, all of that
Yeah.
thing. I disagree. I
It's
don't
not the
think it's the
worst.
worst live action.
I think when we were coming out of the cinema, we were probably saying that the Little Mermaid is probably the worst for us.
Yeah.
Because we liked this film over Little Mermaid.
Oh, Lion King was probably worse than that.
Oh,
but
fair.
but this was better than both of those
It was
ones. Overall, it was good. You know?
It was actually
We
alright.
were even saying when we left, as a standalone movie with no comparison to the original, it was a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just thought we would touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, throw it out there for you guys. And let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Are you one of those fans that hated the film? Or are you one of the minority that's like, do you know what? It was actually alright.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are people out there that actually did like the film.
Again, but live actions as a whole in Disney,
It's not
they
gonna
don't
be
do
the same
well.
anyway.
They don't really overall they don't really
They
do
don't.
well with their live actions.
No, yeah.
So, you know, it's alright. That kind of brings us into our rating.
Yeah.
But like obviously just before that, obviously, like I said, the movie's not doing well.
No.
I believe the movie is on like 2.3 IMDb rating.
2.3, yeah.
And I think it's on like 4.4 Rotten Tomatoes. So
Yeah.
it's doing really bad. And I think I checked it after the first day. It only made 2 million.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
it's
think
just-
I don't think a film has ever got that low
really
on
bad.
IMDb.
And remember, yeah.
Never that low.
Yeah. I remember, I even checked their budget that it was between 240 and 270 million.
Yeah, like they on. I don't.
I'm saying to
think they're
Daddy,
gonna
I
hit
don't think they're hitting budget.
They're not even. I don't think they're getting
Like,
half. I don't think they're
yeah.
gonna hit it. And there's multiple reasons, as we've already kind of
Yeah.
touched on. I think a lot of that is political. Some of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
From both of them.
Yeah.
We know all the stuff that was coming out about both of them. You know. Of what they each, I guess, what they both stand for, their own personal thing, you know, that was all over the news. If you know, all sorts of
And
things,
then
and everything
obviously
Rachel's been
Rachel-
saying about the film and the
Yeah.
original, all of
Yeah.
it. I think it all plays a part, and there's a lot of you out there that didn't want to watch it and basically support
Yeah.
them in a way. So we get it, you know.
And even quickly, very quickly touching on the ratings, not the ratings, the graphics. The visuals were really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
The only problem was the dwarves.
Massive
Or the little
problem for
people.
us. We still stand by
Yeah.
that.
Still stand by it.
Still think it's very lazy
Yeah.
to not try and find actors that have dwarfism.
Yeah.
I think it's lazy. I also think it's rude. I think there's no reason to why you couldn't have done that. We know there's actors out there that have dwarfism. And I even saw something of, you know, the main guy that was in Thor. You know, that did what's the that weapon called again?
Oh gosh.
Stormbreaker, you know. He even came out and he said, you know, he would have loved the opportunity to even be asked.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't think it's right that you use just, you know, people to just and CGI them as, you know, the seven
They didn't
dwarfs.
have to do that.
I just think it's wrong, and I just think you should have got real people
And
with
because-
dwarfism, and again given them the opportunity as well to be inclusive,
Yeah.
and give them that representation as well. I still
And
stand
because
by
also
that.
they didn't do it well as either.
Yeah,
And
still stand by that.
and another thing is like they took the focus completely off the dwarves.
Yeah, and
You
just on
just
one.
literally
Yeah,
completely
in general,
off
yes.
them.
In general, yes.
Completely
Yeah.
off them. So didn't like that either.
Yeah.
But our ratings,
Rating-wise.
ratings.
To be fair, when I came out, I mean, I did say I understand why it got 2.5, but I think I was saying that I probably wouldn't even give it higher than a 5.
I probably wouldn't either.
Like, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably just say 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give it a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a 5 is. Yeah, I think I wouldn't give it any higher. Yeah.
No, probably not.
The 5
not
is
in a
alright.
bad way. It's just like 5.
Yeah. So of course, guys, it wasn't just me and Leah that watched the movie. We did watch it with our sister Fia. Unfortunately, Fia couldn't be with us here to review the video. But we did get her opinion on the movie, which I'm going to read out for you guys now. So if I'm looking down, that's why I'm actually reading it from my phone. Okay. So Fia has said, as a standalone film, it's a decent watch. She thinks Gal Gadot played the part very well, and Snow White played it well as well, which we agreed with that really pretty much. So she enjoyed the singing abilities of Snow and the Evil Queen. Yes, they did both do very well in terms of the singing. She said the songs were okay. They changed a few things from the original, but nothing drastic, is what Fia thought. We're more on, some were drastic, some weren't, so minor. She said she likes how they used Snow to empower Dopey to speak, which Fia was saying at the end of the movie.
She liked
we
that.
Didn't like
we
it,
didn't, but
Fia liked it. Yeah. And then finally, she would rate it a 6 out of 10. So not far off what we said.
Not far.
So we're 5, Fia is 6.
Yeah, which is obviously all higher than what the film got.
Way higher.
Way higher.
Yeah, so that's what we thought of the movie.
I
mean, I think overall, go and watch it, guys. Honestly.
Yeah, in all honesty, I know, like we have said multiple times across this whole review, we understand that there's a lot of things that kind of come with it as well because of the things that have been said from, Rachel and other things that are coming out. So we understand it, and she hasn't exactly been positive about Snow White, and, you get this role, you'd think that you would promote her and where it's come from. You can't just forget where these films are coming from. And I think it's not even just Rachel's problem, but I think that's what Disney's problem is. And Disney has a problem with that. Like, I understand these things came out then, and it's a long time ago. We recognize that. We all recognize that. But the problem is forgetting that's where it came from. These are not original stories. You're remaking it out of something you made years and years ago. And I think your issue is you're trying to erase that by creating something, a new version, and you can't do that.
And again, this brings us back to, can't remember which video we said it in, but it brings us back to like one of our other videos on the channel when it comes to Disney. What we don't like is the fact that you're calling it live actions. They're not actually live actions.
Remake.
They're live adaptations. That's what they are. And I would rather you call it that than call it a live action remake, because by you saying that, we're pretty much expecting it to be almost identical to the original.
That's just the way we see it. That's the way we see that word. That's what we're hearing.
I think some other people in whatever video
they were agreeing with us.
I just think it's common sense. You know what I mean?
That's just the way we see it. Disney, that's the way we hear it.
Yeah, and I don't think Disney should be calling it live action remakes.
If you're gonna change something drastic, say it's a live.
And
adaptation.
I think that's why I think that's a lot of a reason why a lot of their live actions flop.
Probably, because you have strayed too far from the original. And yes, there are some people who don't mind that and like that, but there's a lot of us that don't. But
but I would say go and watch it. I would say go and watch it. It was good. Keep an open mind. Again, like we did with Mufasa, and we liked it. So you know what I mean. Keep an open mind. Give it a chance. It was good.
It was good.
So let us know what you think in the comments below. Of course, you guys know already. We love talking to you guys, especially when it comes to Disney and Marvel specifically. But yes, have a conversation with us in the comments below. Let us know what you guys thought, if you've watched it. And we didn't even say this was a spoiler review, guys.
Oh gosh,
we didn't even say that.
It should have been on the screen. Add in the title.
So obviously, of course, go and watch it first before you watch our review. But yes, for those of you who have watched it, let us know what you thought. If you agree with anything we said, if you disagree with anything we said, absolutely fine. Let's have a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, returning subscribers, welcome. And of course to new subscribers, welcome. You know what I mean.
Yes.
So comment down below, subscribe to our channel if you like our videos, and if you like this video as well. Yeah, we would love to have you join our family. And until next time, until our next video, guys, Patten Time out.